Today on the CTV News at 5, the party leaders hit the hustings on the first full day of campaigning. Plus, why a Crow's Nest Pass man is upset he can't help collect money for a senior center. And the Lethbridge Derby Dames gear up for Alberta's inaugural roller derby tourney.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The campaign buses are rolling and the party leaders have hit the road. It's day 2 of the provincial election campaign, and the leaders are already firing political barbs at each other. Wildrose leader Danielle Smith says the Progressive Conservatives and Premier Alison Redford need a lesson in basic home budgeting. Smith is promising her party would balance the books by cutting government waste and extend some infrastructure projects by a year. Meanwhile, Premier Alison Redford says Albertans have never had it so good, but she says that doesn't mean her PC party will get complacent. Redford says the province created close to 100,000 jobs last year, powered by a petroleum economy that kept Alberta's unemployment rate the lowest in Canada. And Alberta's New Democrats say they have common sense solutions to get the province's ailing healthcare system back on its feet without breaking the bank. Mason says the Tories have lost the confidence of Albertans after years of mismanaging healthcare and flirting with U.S.-style privatization. Now, the leader of Alberta's Liberals says that a two-party fight on the province's right could mean good things for them. Ross Sherman says vote splitting between the Progressive Conservatives and Wildrose Party could allow his team to come up the middle and then take some ridings previously thought to be out of reach. You'll have a chance to see all of the party leaders' debate right here on CTV. That will happen Thursday, April 12th. We'll have more details in the weeks to come. Now, meanwhile, 2 public forums have been scheduled in Lethbridge for candidates. The first is planned for this Saturday. It's sponsored by Outreach Southern Alberta. It starts 1 p.m. at the Community of Christ Church. For Lethbridge East candidates, another meeting will be held by SACPA for April the 3rd. For Lethbridge West residents, one meeting will be held for a forum at April the 4th. Those will both start 7 o'clock at the Theatre Gallery in downtown Lethbridge. Now, the Wildrose Party is crying foul after an automated phone survey that it calls ugly and mean-spirited. It asked the call taker to pick one of 4 options to best describe the way that they support the Wildrose.
Education is overfunded. I agree with Danielle Smith that parents should pay more for education extras like kindergarten and special needs aid. Press 2. I agree with Danielle Smith that people should be allowed to drink and drive right up to criminal impairment without consequence. Press 3.
The Wildrose were made aware of the telephone push poll survey when Calgary Fish Creek candidate Heather Forsyth received a phone call herself. Forsyth and her party claim the calls originated from the provincial Tories. She calls it unacceptable and another example of the PC's bullying tactics. Here is our lovely sunshiny weather expert Dory Rossiter, and temperatures into the teens tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's good to be a weather person when the temperatures are moving up, the sunshine's moving in, and everybody's smiling. And that's going to be the state of southern Alberta for the next few days. I've got a pretty happy forecast and a sunny one coming up in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. Well, the family of a 3-year-old Sparwood boy say they do not plan on attending the sentencing hearing of the man who is admitted to abducting their child. Yesterday, 46-year-old Randall Hopley surprised a Cranbrook courtroom by admitting he snatched Keenan Hebert from his bed last September and then led police on a frantic manhunt. The boy was returned to the home unharmed 4 days later. Hopley was later arrested near the BC-Alberta border. Keenan Hebert's father was shocked to learn of the guilty plea, and he first heard it from the news from CTV.
To know that we can start living our life again, knowing that this is over with. We definitely have learned that people can take more than just a TV out of your house at night. So we definitely have our house locked up pretty tight at night. So we appreciate a little bit more of everything that we have. Appreciate a little bit more time with our kids as well, because you just don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next.
Despite the fact there will not be a trial, we will still find out what happened during the 4 days Keenan Hebert disappeared. The details will be made public in an agreed statement of fact that will be presented at his sentencing hearing. Hopley's lawyer says his client made the decision to plead guilty all on his own.
Mr. Hopley decided that he wanted to deal with it this way rather than put the Hebert family through the pain of a trial, having to recount those events.
Hopley will be sentenced in July, and he faces up to 10 years in prison. Little Keenan Hebert, he turns 4 years old next week. A Cranbrook day home operator charged with the murder of a toddler in her care has been released on bail once again. 28-year-old Tammy Bouvette, who is a mother of 4, is charged with second-degree murder in connection to the death of 19-month-old Iana Teeple in May. Iana's parents believe their daughter drowned after being left alone in a bathtub. It took several months for police to lay charges. That happened in October. Bouvette was released on a recognizance in November, but broke the conditions of her release on 2 occasions. The Crown was looking to have her remain in custody until her trial, but the judge agreed to give her another chance. Bouvette is now essentially on house arrest and cannot be in contact with children under the age of 12. A Honduras man named one of Canada's most wanted has now been deported. 29-year-old Johnny Gonzalez was arrested while visiting his wife and children in Cardston March 13th. He wasn't allowed to be in Canada because of an American conviction of drug trafficking. Gonzalez had already been issued 2 deportation orders. CTV News has learned the RCMP will be slapped with a class action lawsuit today, alleging widespread gender discrimination. Several female members of the force have spoken out recently about facing sexual harassment and repeated advancements from male colleagues. Sources say even more women have come forward to put their names on a class action suit. The plaintiffs are former and current members of the force as well as civilian employees. A Crowsnest Pass man is upset that he may not be able to help the local hospital collect recycling money for its senior center. The longtime volunteer heard that Alberta Health Services may be taking over the program instead. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
The only thing Don Riva enjoys more than his model train set is volunteering at the local health center. He picks up the hospital's empty bottles and cans and donates all the recycling proceeds back to the seniors who live there. He's been visiting the center 2 to 5 times a week for 7 years and always brings his dogs.
Well, there's one woman never spoke for 4 months, and they put the little dog on her lap, and then she starts speaking, eh? I really enjoy it, too. It brings happiness to them, even if it's only for a couple hours a day. Come on, guys, let's go. Come on.
The recycling raises about $150 a month. The center uses the cash for birthday parties, Christmas gifts, and entertainment for the seniors. Don says hospital staff told him Alberta Health Services may take over the program and pocket the cash instead.
They said if the Alberta Health Services start taking the bottle money, then they won't be able to do what they used to do. They'll have to find some other way to do the funding.
Staff at Crowsnest Pass Healthcare Center say Don is an extremely valued volunteer whose contributions enhance the quality of life for its residents. While staff aren't in control of the decision, they say Alberta Health Services is evaluating each community to determine the best course of action.
I hope Alberta Health Services realize that their seniors paved the way for them, and that they will not take the recyclable money that I give to the seniors away.
We contacted Alberta Health Services. A representative says they haven't made plans to scrap the current recycling program, but if they do make changes, the money would still go towards patient care. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Crowsnest Pass.
If Alberta Health Services does change the current program, some people in Crowsnest Pass have suggested donating their own bottles and cans so Don can hand over those recycling proceeds to the senior center. St. John's Ambulance says getting out and volunteering is one of the best personal grow opportunities you have. Kim Lang is the Regional Development Director for St. John's Ambulance in Alberta. Lang was the guest speaker at today's Volunteer Lethbridge Annual General Meeting. She spoke to the group about her experience in Haiti. She traveled there in 2010 after an earthquake rocked the country. Lang says there's no better feeling than giving back to those in need.
To be a volunteer is one of the most rewarding things anyone can do, because you have the opportunity to find fulfillment for yourself, find like-minded persons who share common values, principles, but more importantly, you get to interact and learn about other people, other cultures, and in some cases people think you have to go around the world, but you have that opportunity right in your own yard, right in your own community.
Volunteer Lethbridge recruits volunteers and then pairs them up with a number of different charities and organizations in the city. To get involved, you can visit volunteerlethbridge.com. The spring farm auction season is off to a very busy start.
150 bid 100, 100 bid 100.
Ritchie Brothers moved over $3 million worth of farm equipment in its first auction of the year today. A big crowd was on hand to bid on close to 600 lots. The company is staging 60 unreserved large auctions across Canada this spring. Bidders are using the internet to participate in the sales. Organizers say the agriculture economy is destined for another strong year.
The farm economy has a lot of optimism and looks like it's going to hold as far as the commodity prices for the next year, year and a half. That bodes well for our auction sales. Last fall we had some of our strongest agricultural prices when it comes to used equipment. We're expecting the same this spring. We've just started. This is our first sale in Western Canada.
The next local Ritchie Brothers auction will take place on Saturday near Pincher Creek. Local scientist is being recognized internationally for his achievements in grasslands research. Mike LeBlanc catches up with him in this week's edition of Farm.TV.
A Lethbridge Research Center scientist has received the prestigious W.R. Chaplin Research Award from the Society for Range Management at its 65th annual meeting in Spokane, Washington. Dr. Walter Wilms is the principal research scientist in range ecology and management with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada at the Lethbridge Research Center.
Our research is primarily in southern Alberta. We have 2 substations. The 1-4 station was started in 1927. The Stavely station was started in 1949. The purpose of starting these stations is to determine carrying capacity of the grasslands.
Dr. Wilms has found research into these grasslands fascinating.
I focused a lot on the interactions or relationships between livestock and grass, or the grassland community. It's a complicated issue. The grazing impacts the grassland, and the grassland in turn impacts the herbivore. And not only the livestock, it impacts the whole food chain. And the cow is replacing the disturbances from pre-European times, the bison and fire. The purpose of research is really in range ecology is not to develop products, it's to develop a better understanding of the system that we're working with. Because once we develop that understanding, then we can also manage it in a way that we think society will benefit.
Farm TV is brought to you by DA Building Systems.
Thanks, Mike. In the markets today, a down day for our dollar, the TSX, and Dow Jones. Here are the final numbers.